So, and of course, remember my friends, I parboil that with a little bit of sweet corn and of course peas. So you can also after parboiling, you can blanch that, run that in cold water so it doesn't stick together. Make your cheese sauce, your bechamel sauce on the side, and then steam your pasta on another pot and that saucepan, and then run that in cold water. And of course, mix that together. Get that straight into the oven. Pop in a little bit of cheese, and then we're going to pop cheese again at the very end, and then we're going to serve that. You can garnish that with parsley, and then we're going to serve that. So now into this love. So that's the honey inside. So I'm going to give that a quick stir, and I'm going to serve that now. We don't want to pop in the honey at the creamy. Now I'm going to pop in a bit of cheese on top. Yum yum. Lovely mac and cheese. So I'm making the honey mac and cheese. Basically, what we need to make a mac and cheese is just lovely butter, and then we need flour. So we're gonna pop in the butter in. We need about 50 grams, and then we need 400 grams. So we're making 250 grams of mac and cheese. So now I'm gonna melt it and then make a roux. So I'm making the honey one. I'm gonna pop honey later, and then we got macaroni. We already steamed the macaroni, so it's nice and lovely. Look at that, amazing. So lovely parboiled macaroni with peas and sweet corn, and then I'm gonna pop in. So my butter is already melted. Pop a little bit more, and I'm gonna make a roux straight away. So I'll make a roux with the flour. So I'm gonna pop down the hops straight away to make that melted, and then it looks amazing. Once I make my roux, I'm gonna grab my milk. I'm gonna grab my milk from the fridge straight away. Lovely. So that's gonna be the best mac and cheese ever. So making the honey one. So my roux is gonna be ready in a couple of minutes. So now I'm gonna pop it. You can use plain flour, safe resin flour, that's alright. I'm gonna pop in my flour. So that looks good. I don't want to burn that, so I'm gonna pop in 100 grams of flour into 50 grams of butter, and then I'm gonna make the roux straight away. So I'm gonna turn that off, and then I'm gonna stir that to make the roux. So once it to bind together, I want something like that. A little bit more. Carry on cooking that a little bit on the hob. So that's alright. And then, so actually we're making a bechamel sauce with like a cheese sauce. So we can pop in cream or milk, that's alright. So that's the roux. So that's the roux. Now I'm gonna pop in my milk. So I'm using that. You can use cream, that's alright. So I'm gonna pop in 100 grams of milk. Lovely, look at that, amazing. So now I'm gonna give it a quick stir, and I'm gonna whisk that. Pop down the hob again. So I'm gonna pop down the hob, and then I'm gonna carry on stirring down the hob. So we can use wicks. I'm gonna grab my wicks at the very end. I want it nice and hot. I'm gonna whisk that at the very end. For now, we're gonna keep stirring that. So my friends, remember to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you. So we're making the honey mac and cheese. So we're making our bechamel. And then I'm going to pop in my grated cheese at the very end. Lovely. So that is ready. I'm going to turn that off. I don't want it to burn. And then I'm going to quickly pop in my cheese. I'm going to whisk that, pop in my cheese. It's going to be amazing. So you can see the cheese have, without the wicks, I can still get my bechamel. You can see it's nice and thick, it's creamy. There's the bechamel. Pop in more milk and then pop in my cheese. I can do that with a wooden spoon, it's alright. Without the wicks, you can see it's nice and creamy. And then more milk. So that's the milking. And then now I'm going to pop in my lovely parboiled cheese. Let me get my cheese, parboiled mac and cheese, parboiled macaroni. So I'm using the grated cheese. So that's my grated cheese. Now I'm going to pop a little bit of cheese into the bechamel to make it like a cheese sauce. So like a cheese sauce. So we got a cheese sauce. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this cheese sauce straight into the lovely macaroni. So as I said earlier on, I'm making a honey mac and cheese. I'm going to pop in my honey at the very end. So I got my lovely macaroni ready. So you can parboil yours and blanch that, run that in cold water. So I have my lovely macaroni and peas and sweet corn. I'm going to pop that straight away into this lovely cheese sauce. Or basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to get that straight into the oven. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop in the cheese sauce in that one. This is the Dutch oven. So let's pop in our cheese sauce into that one. So that's the cheese sauce. So I'm going to give that a quick stir. You see, it's nice and creamy, like that. Nice and creamy. Now, I'm going to get that straight into the oven. I'm going to bake that, popping a little bit of cream or milk. You can see it's nice and creamy. Nice and creamy. Now I'm going to pop in a bit of milk, get that straight into the oven, pop in more cheese. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop in more cheese. You can see it's nice and creamy. This is nice and creamy. So we're going to get that straight in the oven. Pop a little bit of cheese, get that straight in the oven. And then you can see nice and creamy. Lovely. This is what we're talking about. This is the honey mac and cheese. So we're going to pop in the honey at the very end. So the bechamel sauce is in, the cheese sauce. Straight into the oven, my friends. Remember to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you. Amazing. So let's get that straight into the oven. Preheat our oven. A little bit of cheese. That's my bechamel. I'm going to put in the rest of the bechamel in here. It's creamy. And then once it's cooked, I'm going to pop in the cheese inside. It's nice and creamy. that's grated cheese. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pop in my lid on it, get that straight into the oven, and then I'm gonna bake that for about 10 minutes. So let's bake that for about 10 minutes. Once it's ready, I'm gonna show you guys how it came out. For now, let's heat that up. So we're gonna garnish that with parsley, you know. So leave that cooking for now, and it's gonna be ready in 10 minutes. So these are the recipe, nice and easy. Pop a little bit of oregano and black pepper. Amazing. It's a lovely honey mac and cheese. So my friends, as I said, we're making honey mac and cheese, and the macaroni and cheese is in the oven. It's almost ready. So so we're gonna get started to plate our mac and cheese. We're gonna get that straight out from the oven, and then we're gonna plate that in this bowl. So as I said, basically, I made my cheese sauce. If you were here from the very beginning, when I started my live stream, I made a cheese sauce, which is a bechamel sauce. And I said, I pop in my lovely, I pop in my lovely butter, about 50 grams, into that's the saucepan I use actually. So I use that for the bechamel. What I did was to pop in my lovely butter into that, and then flour. So 50 grams of butter, and then 100 grams of flour. So I made a roux, and after making a roux, I pop in my milk. So you can use cream, that's alright. So I put in my cream and milk, about 150 grams. Then make a cheese sauce, and then I pop in my grated cheese. So you can use cheddar, mozzarella, it's up to you, my friends. So I use grated cheddar, and then made a cheese sauce. And of course, just parboil your macaroni, you know, almost cooked, and you run in cold water so it doesn't stick together. And then what I did, I added some peas and sweet corn into that. And of course, don't forget to pop in a little bit of black pepper and of course oregano into the lovely pasta. So it's a macaroni pasta. And of course, I'm going to pop in honey at the very end. We don't want to cook our honey because we're making a honey mac and cheese. It's the best mac and cheese ever. So you can use a plain flour, you can use a savory flour, that's all right. So now my friends, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how the mac and cheese came out. So I'm going to play that into this lovely bowl. So mac and cheese ready. So you can enjoy that with veg on the side. So now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna get that out from the oven, pop in a bit more cheese on top, and then get that ready to eat. So I'm gonna pop in my meat back into the fridge, and then we're gonna get our cheese, my macaroni out from the oven. It's gonna be a lovely mac and cheese. Amazing. Lovely. So now, my friends, macaroni is ready. So here we go. Get it out from the oven. Pop in our lovely honey. I'm going to pop in about 2 tablespoons of honey. So I'm going to grab my tablespoon. Yeah, 2 tablespoons of honey. And then we're going to enjoy that. So I'm going to put that away, I don't need anymore. Get that nice and clean. So my friends, remember to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you. So honey mac and cheese ready. So now, that is honey mac and cheese. So I'm gonna, do that now on the hob. Give that a little bit of, make it nice and hot on the hob. We don't want to waste time. So it's nice and creamy. So you can see, so straight on the hob. I'm gonna cook down the hob straight away. What I'm gonna do, I don't want to heat that. I don't want that to burn. So this is what we're talking about. It looks amazing. It's nice and creamy. So I want it nice and hot. I'm going to serve that now straight away. Looks amazing. So I'm going to turn down the heat. I want the heat turned down. If I increase the heat, it's going to burn. So I'm going to stir that bit by bit. It's a creamy mac and cheese. It looks amazing, my friends. Nice and hot. My friends, remember to share, like, and subscribe. I'm going to make another amazing recipe tomorrow. I make live streams every day. Tastes really good. You can see it's creamy. It's creamy from the bechamel sauce. So I'm going to turn down the heat again because the high is going to make it burn. I don't want it to burn. I want it to be nice and hot, but we don't want it to burn. Make it nice and creamy. Like that. Gonna keep stirring that. You can see low heat on low heat. When you stir that on low heat, it doesn't burn. Nice and creamy. We don't want to stir that on high heat. We want to do that on low heat. Low heat. Yeah. Stir that on the hob. Make it nice and hot. At least 75 degrees. Once it's at least 75, we can serve that. We probe that for 75. Yeah, that looks amazing. Look at that. Amazing. Lovely mac and cheese. Nice and creamy. So don't forget, my friends, you can rewatch the video from the very beginning. You see me making the bechamel sauce. If you just join this live stream, I already made the bechamel sauce. Okay, so you can watch me how I did that from start to finish. And of course, I parboiled my pasta. You can see the kind of pasta I use. It's the macaroni pasta from Italy. So, and of course, remember, my friends, I parboiled that with a little bit of sweet corn and of course peas. So you can also after parboiling, you can blanch that, run that in cold water so it doesn't stick together. Make your cheese sauce, your bechamel sauce on the side, and then steam your pasta on another pot, on that saucepan, and then run that in cold water. And of course, mix that together. Get that straight into the oven. Pop in a little bit of cheese, and then we're going to pop cheese again at the very end, and then we're going to serve that. You can garnish that with parsley. Always serve your mac and cheese with veg at the side. Makes it nice and lovely. Or you can just pop in your sweet corn, and of course you can also pop in more cheese sauce at the very end if you want. You can see it's nice and hot now. So what we're going to do, we're going to serve that on the bowl, and we're going to pop in more cheese, and then we're going to do it. It's nice and hot now. This is a Dutch oven, so I'm going to pop it on top, nice and hot, and then we're going to serve that. So now it's time for service. It's time for service, my friends. My friends, remember to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you. This is really amazing. So remember, I'm going to stream again next tomorrow for another amazing recipes. So I'm going to pop in my honey now, and then I'm going to serve that in this bowl. You can serve that. You can serve that in a pasta bowl. That's alright, whichever bowl you want. You can serve that in a pasta bowl. But I want to use a transparent bowl for you guys to see what I'm doing. But normally I always eat my mac and cheese in that pasta bowl. Yeah, I can use any of the pasta bowl, that's alright for me. So now, my friends, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly pop in my mac and cheese. Is ready on this lovely I just grate a steak on the side. I'm going to enjoy that later with my steak. So now I'm going to pop in my mac and cheese straight into this lovely. See, nice and creamy, nice and hot. So we're going to serve that now. So I'm going to pop that straight into this lovely. Before then, I'm going to grab my honey. So I'm going to pop in the honey mac and cheese. Don't forget, my friends, I'm making the honey mac and cheese. So I'm going to pop in the honey straight into this lovely 2 tablespoons of honey in heaps. That's all right. 2 tablespoons. Yeah. Now, so that's the honey inside. So I'm going to give that a quick stir. And I'm going to serve that now. We don't want to pop in the honey at the beginning. We pop that at the very end. So it's ready. So now I'm going to serve that now. Look at that, amazing. Yeah. So my friends, you can see the mac and cheese is nice and thick, nice and creamy. This is what we're talking about. You can see cheese. It's not nice and hot, nice and creamy. Now, I'm going to pop a bit of cheese on top. Yum yum. If you like, you can put the cheese on top again, then pop it that straight into the oven and make sure it's grilled for some time again. You just bake that in the oven and then you enjoy that. Look at that, amazing. I'm going to try that again. Yum yum, honey mac and cheese. Yum yum. I love the honey inside. Yum yum. Tastes really good. So my friends, thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers, bye bye. Remember to hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell, and share this lovely video.